Yo, what's up? What's going on? This is Rapology, your favorite rapper's favorite podcast. I'm your boy Marv.
This your girl DJ City.
All right, so on today's episode, we're gonna get right into it. On today's episode, I want to pose the question: the best three album run, Kanye or Kendrick Lamar. So I pose the question. I know who I'm rocking with. I want to kick it to my girl side. Side, who are you rocking with? Kendrick,
It's
Team Kendrick,
just
or Kanye?
or Kanye
Yeah, or Kanye.
or Yeezy or Yeezus. What are we
Yeah.
talking about? So the idea that this is even a comparison is just wild to me. But for the
Okay.
sake of this podcast, I'm going to entertain this, right?
Okay.
Between Kendrick and Kanye, I think it's a very clear winner here. That Kanye, and it's not even a competition. Let me just make that clear because there's no comparing the two decades, two different like time frames for real. But when we think about impact, like, come on, man, is this really even like a
Okay.
fair comparison?
What three
Kanye
albums you
easily.
rocking with? Which three albums are you rocking with?
Kanye, easy. College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation. Also, let me caveat this with I am from Chicago. Everybody needs to know that. My name
Okay.
is DJ Shy City, and you say Shy City. That is
Okay.
my name for a reason because I put on for Chicago any day, every day, all day. Like,
Okay.
so for me, it's gonna be Kanye off rip, off
Oh,
general
real-
principle. Like, off rip. Like, how could I ever go against the city? That would be crazy.
I feel
So,
you. I feel you on that.
yeah, I mean, to when Kanye came out with College Dropout, like that was definitely a time. It was the polo, the polo
Yeah, yeah,
era.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it created a movement. Like when we think about legendary movements, Kanye created it for fashion and all the things in hip
Yeah.
hop. Sticking to the music though, the trilogy of the bear, you know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying?
That
Like
was dope.
it
That
was
was
the
dope.
story that went along with like College Dropout. You know what I'm saying? Like that was fresh off Kanye really like having to prove himself as from being like the producer nigga to like Kanye the
Yeah.
rapper, and I feel like he did that with College Dropout. Like he took that influence from Hove and like everybody else he worked with on that project. There's no, I don't know. That's my take. We could dive deeper into it. We can go track for track, album for
Okay.
album. But off rip, I'm going with Kanye's
Kanye three
trilogy.
P. You
Top
going
three.
with Kanye? Top
Yes.
three.
Easy.
College dropout, late registration, and graduation. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Hey,
Yes.
I'm not mad at that. That is it's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of both.
Exactly.
I think both are just great when they own right. But I'm gonna go with Kendrick Lamar. I'm gonna go with Kendrick to even it up for the sake of argument. I think my boy Kendrick has the best three run album. I'm not gonna include Section 80 because that was more of an independent release, but I'm wanna and talk about his debut album, which is Good Kid, Mad City, released in 2012, and then he came back 3 years later in
Mhm.
2015 and released To Pimp a Butterfly. Followed that up 2017 and released Damn. So I think that's probably one of the greatest three album runs in hip hop history. Like, come on, Good Kid, Mad City. What that was coming out the gate, classic album. Had some guest features on there. I just remember that time, like he just delivered on that album. He had Drake on there, Poetic Justice with the Janet Jackson sample. Like, come on, how can you not that? But I just think Kendrick three album run was just a better collection of hip hop. Like, and then when he went with Two Pimple Butterfly, he went with more of that jazz sound. It was just totally different, and it was more conscious. Like the storytelling and consciousness on that album. All right, like that was a Black Lives Matter anthem. It was just a classic album. And then we get the Damn, what that did. I think that was when he was at his peak before he went on this run that he started last year with the beef and
Mhm.
everything. But with Damn in 2017, that was just like the chef's kiss for that 3 album run. So that man came 3 albums out the gate. So I got to go with him. But Kanye West, I can't argue with that either. So what you got?
What makes it hard for me is the fact that to like your point of introducing the albums is like when they were released. Like
Right.
Kendrick, that was released at a time where Drake was, you know what I'm saying, kind of on the rise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was definitely a different decade. It was,
yeah, yeah.
but the thing is you couldn't even have Kendrick if you didn't have Kanye. I don't think you could even truly, I don't think the culture would have embraced a Kendrick if it was not for Kanye. Kanye was like the pioneer of like I don't know. I just of the more fashionable
Yeah,
artist.
like
You
the
know what I'm
good,
saying?
like
Like
yeah, I feel what you're saying.
very artistic. I mean, outside you had Outkast, right?
Yeah,
That was doing the real artistic, like, things of that nature at the time. But like, nah, when it comes to like real conceptual projects, Kanye fully
there you go.
embodied that with
Okay,
College Dropout,
with
right?
college.
Like, the storytelling, the production, the
Okay,
just you had what's the comedian do? He from Chicago too, I think. D-Ray. Like
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
with the skits, like come on, like the storytelling that went along with College Dropout and the conception, like Kendrick took that though and like multiplied it and made it even like 10 times more conscious, I think, like the idea of putting together full conceptual projects. And not to say it wasn't that way at the time, but like the artistic vision that Kanye had with like the bear and everything else,
Yeah, that was
like
dope.
yeah, that was dope. Like he brought the concept to like the rapper game at a time where like Missy was doing it, Timbaland was doing. Like you had these very eclectic artists, but putting it in like a project in like the world of like hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That delivered it the way Kanye did it on a visionary artistic level. Come on, you can't get can't get Cookie and Mad City without it.
Okay, I agree with that. I think to your point, I think Kanye made it cool to be yourself. Like you ain't got to
Right.
be a gangster. You don't have to be no thug.
Right.
You don't have to rap about selling bricks and drugs and shit like that. He was more in
Exactly.
that lane of I'm a college kid. I wear pink polos and shit like that. So he made it
Exactly.
cool to be yourself. Like you can still be dope and still make a dope album and have dope rhymes. And you can make songs like Jesus Walks and things like that. So I agree with that. Kanye did, man. He was a dope a producer around this time too. Like
Right.
at this time before he dropped that, he was a nigga Rockefeller in-house producer coming off the success of the Blueprint and all that kind of stuff like that. You know, producer for pretty much a lot of people around this time. So his debut album definitely didn't disappoint. But I think if you compare, okay, let's compare debut albums with each other.
Do it.
Let us know in the comments which one are you picking, Kanye
Yes.
West or Team Kendrick. I think with debut albums, I'm gonna go with college. I'm not college drop. I'm gonna go with Good
You
Kid.
you had the right answer.
I'm gonna go with Good Kid, Mad City. I love College Dropout. I love College Dropout, but I'm gonna go with Good Kid, Mad City. You know, just the story that he was telling on there, everything. He had a feature from Hove on there. Kanye has a feature from Jay-Z as well.
Yes,
College Dropout.
exactly. Never Let Me Down, which is one
Yeah,
of the
that
most fire records on there. Shout out to JIV
yeah,
for the
that was
poem,
dope.
man. That was crazy.
And then at the end, how
Amazing.
he told the story of how he got signed to Rockefeller and when he
Hmm.
was doing the talking and commentary. So, like I said, I like it. I think you can't go wrong with either one. But I think if I put up a poll, like which one you rocking with, if you only had to pick one, College Dropout or Good Kid, Mad City, I think more people will go with Good
Did you
Kid.
hear Get 'Em High? Did you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get Him Out was dope. It was a dope record. Talib Kweli was on there. Freeway.
Lyrics stick to your ribs. I mean, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I just think to Good Kid,
Workout
Mad City.
plan?
Yeah, yeah, workout plan. Workout plan. That was a little
Everything
commercial.
else led to commercial?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
commercial for my liking, but I guess you know you got to have some commercial on joints on there. One of my favorites on there, but I can see. I
Nah,
think
that's fair.
I think that's a skip. I think he could have left that off of there, but
Skip is
you
crazy.
think so?
Skip is absolutely crazy.
You think so? I'm going with Good Kid, Mad City over College Dropout any day, any day, any day. And I went and bought College Dropout when it dropped. I remember when it dropped in February 2004. I remember driving to go, you know,
Yeah.
we had to go buy records and stuff like that, going buying the CD. So you know, I
Nah, that's
definitely am
real.
a Kanye fan, but. Kendrick came out with that on Good Kid, Mad City in 2012. He kind of told that whole story of Compton growing up.
That's the thing I loved about Good Kid, Mad City. It was very reminiscent of like Illmatic as far as
Yeah,
like the story of like coming to age. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like of a teenage boy. I mean, I love Good Kid, Mad City. Don't get me wrong. Like every record on there, I rock
yeah.
with the whole storytelling. To your point, like I think it's a fair comparison between College Dropout because Good Kid, Mad City to me was like I don't have a better Kendrick than Good Kid, Mad City. Like there's even with Section 80 included. Like if there's not a better project to me than Good Kid, Mad City because
Right.
it's cohesive. It's in totality like the production, the vibes. It's a masterpiece for sure.
You're
Yeah.
not taking it over College Dropout.
No, I'm Come on, man. Like, let's just be real. I mean,
Yeah.
we broke. When I think about College Dropout, I think about like it's an era. It's a time. And Good Kid, Mad City is too, but I think Good Kid, Mad City was for just the college kids, you know what I mean? And as a college girl myself, I appreciate that. And on the flip side, College Dropout is called College
Yeah,
Dropout.
got dropout.
But
Yeah,
I can't get Good Kid, Mad City without
man.
College Dropout. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
got
know.
dropout. Like I said, and you can't forget about Through the Wire. Through the Wire.
Slow
The Shaka
jams with
Khan sample.
Jamie,
So slow
like
jams. Yeah.
like there are just certain records. I mean, on College Dropout, like All Files, like I said, All Files Down, Spaceship. Like, I can't
Oh
tell
yeah,
you how
yeah,
many
yeah,
times
yeah.
I was at work bumping Spaceships, like wishing I could quit my job. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Nah, just thinking about like the whole project, and at that time of like, cause what I was going into college or high school. I think College Dropout came out in like 2004, so I was going
Yeah.
into. I was like a freshman in high school or something, and I just remember feeling like, oh man, I don't think I want to go to college. I remember going to college and like just feeling like College Dropout was the backdrop of like how I felt going into it. I still graduated and finished. Shout out to Howard University, but
Allowed.
it definitely was a time where I would refer back to College Dropout without
Okay.
struggling.
All right.
But Good Kid, Mad City still too. Like, it's hard. It's really
It's
hard.
hard. It's hard. But you got only can pick one. And I'm going with Good Kid.
Let us know in the
Hey.
comments for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I see y'all be chit chattering in the comments, so I heard. Let us know. Listen, Good Kid, Mad City, or College Dropout, which one is the most impactful? Which one would you, if you had to leave one, which
Yeah.
one are you leaving?
If you had it,
Let us
you
know.
only can pick one. Let us know. All right. So what about? Okay, we want to compare.
Sophomore.
The
Yes, let's
sophomore
do it.
albums, the follow ups. We got Late Registration or To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, mind you, both of their albums are just two separate albums. Kanye and Kendrick are two separate artists. I don't think nobody
Yeah.
will confuse the two. Different sounds, different concepts, different, different subject matters for the most part. But Kanye was more, I think, on that political side or pushing the envelope. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what he's doing now, but back in this time, he was making some thoughtful shit. So, Late Registration or To Pimp a Butterfly, which one you rocking with?
Honestly, so when I look at the track list for Late Registration and versus To Pimp a Butterfly, it's really hard. This one is, I think, harder than going through the debut because I do feel like Late Registration had a few more like bops, like more commercial hits. Like, he
Yeah,
had the
yeah,
record with
yeah.
like Adam Levine, and it was just kind of like a little bit more popular. Like, you could tell the label had a little bit more influence, but it was still a dope project. I think I might have to go with To Pimp a Butterfly.
All right.
Crazy for me to say that. Crazy for me to say that. It's hard. Because
Okay.
I think both projects are laced with like political like undertones. Like, obviously The Pimp a Butterfly is like completely
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
full, I think, political commentary type of album for sure. But Late Registration low key had some of that too. Like, we think about Diamonds, one of the main
Ah,
singles,
man.
and it had people really considering like how they were sourcing diamonds and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Kanye had his own
Yeah.
flavor
He
of
did. He did.
consciousness, right? Like, even again, he just did it with Kanye. What he do, it's more in a comedic tone. That's what he did with like College Dropout, Their Registration. It's kind of like more of a political tone that's light and like comedic, and he kind of takes a different spin. Versus Kendrick, To Pimp a Butterfly, to me was heavy. Like, I think about
Yeah.
records like Hood Politics or The Blacker the Berry,
Back in the
Complexion,
bed. Yeah.
like fire, like what
Too.
fire
Yeah.
raps,
All right.
yeah,
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 yeah.
very, but bops at the same time though. That's why I do really like To Pimp a Butterfly, because these are all like bops. I think about like All Right, super, you know what I'm saying, happy. It was like one of the most popular songs
Yeah.
on
We gonna be
this
all right.
album.
Yeah, yeah. That was dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a theme song for a time for sure. So I might have to go to Pimp a Butterfly.
We gonna
It's
go.
I ooh.
Okay, I mean, I guess it's okay. You could choose To Pimp a Butterfly and over one and still think in the whole totality
It's
of it
hard.
that Kanye West has the better three-peat. I don't want people to be like, oh, how's she gonna say Kanye got the best
Now I want the
three-peat, but she
smoke
chooses,
because you gotta
you know,
be, listen, album for album. I'm being fair in this analysis. You know what I
you being
mean?
fair?
Like, To Pimp a Butterfly, you go down, King for
Yeah.
free. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, the jazz influence on there. He had George Clinton. Yeah, it was just dope. It
The
was just an
thing is
amazing
that
project.
To Pimp a Butterfly, Late Registration is longer. That's, I think, also the difference. So To Pimp a Butterfly has what, 16 tracks, and then Late Registration has 21. So Late Registration has a few more records on there, and that's what makes it hard because I think that like in between the skits, Late Registration got Hey Mama. I think a super B side though from Late Registration, honestly, is like going. I'm like going through the
I
track
like
list. Yeah,
drive
Drive
slow.
Slow. On my way home, low key, I was listening to that on my way home from work today.
Okay.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah, he has some.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
I like
Yeah.
that Diamonds. What is it? Diamonds Forever, Diamonds or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The remix with Jay-Z. Jay-Z killed
Yes.
that verse on there, by the way.
Yes, he did. He did. He
A
did.
whole
I like the.
prime.
That's a record where I think I like the remix better than the original for
Yeah, the
sure.
remix for
On
sure.
Diamonds, yeah, yeah.
That Jay-Z flow on there. So you're gonna give the Pimple Butterfly edge. You reserve the right to change your mind. Don't you can change your mind.
Nah, cause you know how people in the comments on Kim and they be like, "Oh, she flip." Nah, I'm not flip floppy, but this is difficult because you ranking these things based on like different elements of the project, like from content to storytelling to production, and different things. And for me, To Pimp a Butterfly was just more of an is slightly more artistic, like creative vision. Still had great production. But
Yeah.
Kanye, man, that producer, he was that
Oh yeah, man.
producer.
Kanye was in his bag around this time. This one, like he was undeniable at this time, and this when
Yeah.
around the time in this era when he spoke up, for the Katrina victims and everything like that.
Right. Oh,
This
always
was a different
doing the
Kanye. He was a different
yeah,
Kanye at this
yeah. But he
time.
was always on that political, right?
Yeah,
Like he was always saying
he
something.
ain't there now. He wouldn't dare do no shit like this now. He's a different man now. But this Kanye, he was like George Bush doesn't care about black people, and
Yeah.
everybody stood up for him like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
we're rooting for him because that's how everybody felt doing Katrina. Like,
Yeah.
Kanye went on national TV and said that shit. So
Yeah.
to him, this was during that era, 2005. Late registration and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, and it's dope that he put out like graduate. But here's also why I choose the trilogy of Kanye over Kendrick is because like you think about the timing of like graduation. I'm sorry, not graduation, but College Dropout and then Late Registration. It was a year apart. Like he put out two banger. You talk about artists that are able to put out like DMX albums back to back and they'd be straight bangers. Kanye achieved that, and then he followed it up like the next year or the year after with Graduation. Crazy.
Yeah, that
Like.
was. Yeah, I never really looked at it that way. He followed it up with another banger, so that was dope.
Because when did Good Kid, Mad City come out? You said
2012.
2012,
Then it was like a
and
3-year
then
hiatus. Kendrick don't drop
that
back to back.
makes right. That I think that makes a difference. So that's another question. Maybe we can get into this like another time. It's like, do you feel like an artist needs to have time in between projects, in order for them to like really like hit? You know what I'm saying, or like to produce good music? I mean, it's very hard to do a back to back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like.
not easy.
Especially when the hype is like all the way up there and then like you have to live up to the hype. But Kanye did that. That's what makes it better.
That's what I like about. I think that's a great argument. Both out, both repeats. Both of these guys delivered three albums in a row.
Yeah.
And I think Kanye, he even got some more classics in his discography. I just wanted to do his first three.
Yes.
We ain't been talking about
Like
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
exactly.
We ain't
808's
talking
like
about
yeah.
that though. And 808 Heartbreaks, which is not a hip hop album, but that still was a dope album as well. So,
I
Kanye
don't know.
had a great run, but we ain't
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
discography. We're not doing a
Right. Right.
whole.
Right. Not discography.
We
Just the
doing
three. Just the
the
three peat.
three-peat. Yeah,
And the thing about Kanye's project or his three peat is that they're all flow within the same like marketing
yeah,
element, like with the bear, the graduation, the whole
the
thing was
whole thing. Yeah,
consistent movement, like movement, genius.
yeah, it was
Kanye's on another level.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, it was scheduled to complete that. The whole series was the last album was supposed to be called Good Ass Job. So you get it, College Dropout, Late
Yeah,
Registration, Graduation. Now I got a Good Ass Job, so that complete this
yeah,
trilogy. That would have been dope, but that never was released. There was rumored that was supposed to
yeah,
be in the fourth album in the trilogy. So
yeah.
hopefully
And
we can get
I've been
that.
looking for it. And I'm like, I've been seeing like some remnants of it online, but I think they all fraud links.
Yeah, probably some
So if somebody got their
scam shit.
hands on the good ass job
Yeah,
project,
yeah,
drop it.
yeah.
Listen, DM us on the side. We want
Exactly. Yeah,
it.
we definitely would love to hear it. But I'm sure he recorded it. It's probably somewhere on a hard
Yeah,
drive somewhere, waiting to be released. But yeah,
definitely.
I guess we could segue into the third album. We're gonna go
Oh,
with
sorry.
Damn.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead, go
Also,
ahead.
we don't talk about this so often, but I do wonder how, like, what is your thoughts or opinions on the album covers of like all of these projects?
Oh,
Like, one
Kanye
thing
wins.
that
Kanye wins.
Kanye wins,
Yeah.
interesting.
With the bear, the
Yeah.
whole bear thing. I loved it. That was very creative. That was very
But
creative.
isn't there like a story behind the one on Kendrick's? Like, even to put for Butterfly, like the picture that they use?
Yeah,
Look it
yeah,
up.
yeah. I guess it was his friends and stuff like that. Superimposed in front of the White House. I love that album cover as well, though. To put
Yeah,
the
I thought that was dope. That represents like a lot though, right?
It
Like these
represents a lot.
niggas in
I guess
front. Yeah.
on the White House lawn, a bunch of niggas out there. It represent like I guess taking it back, like
Yeah.
like we coming to see y'all in Washington, like we need type of
Yeah.
shit. And it went great. The album went great with the concept and the theme of the album cover went great with the theme of the album as well. So
Right. Right.
yeah, that was
Right.
dope. But if you
It
want
was
to talk
dope.
about album covers, I'm gonna give that to
You
Kanye.
go with
I'm gonna give that
Kanye, you
to Kanye.
go with
That
the
bear,
cartoon bear.
yeah, the cartoon
Yeah.
bear, especially on graduation with the bear
Yes.
shooting out with the necklace on. That's legendary. That was a legendary album cover.
Listen, graduation. So the great segue into like the last like
Of the
album,
trilogy.
right? Of the
Yep.
trilogy,
Three.
quote unquote. This is Kendrick doesn't have the
Yeah,
trilogy.
yeah.
He got the real trilogy. We were talking about that. Like, Damn was years later. Like
Yeah.
he went away and then he came out with Damn and it was cool, but it's not. It
You
is
don't think
not
it's better than
graduation.
graduation?
No way. I wonder,
Mm,
stronger. Come on.
yeah, bangers,
Good
bangers.
morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
B-side joints on that Big Brother, the letter to Jay-Z, basically talking about Jay-Z and all
Listen,
that kind of shit. I
listen.
like Barry Bonds, featuring Lil Wayne. Okay,
Yeah.
I give you
Another
that.
B side is Good Night with Most Def. Now that one,
Yeah,
I
that was
like
dope.
that one.
That was dope.
Yeah.
And that drunken hot girls.
Yes.
I don't know about
We
that. I think
go
Kanye could have
through
left that
too
one off.
much bull.
I think he should have left that one off. I don't know.
No, we
You
go
you
through
like
too
that one?
much bull.
You like
We
that one?
go
Okay.
nah, but he could have. People could have probably left that one off. But Flash on, yeah.
Flashing lights.
What Lil Wayne did on Barry Bonds,
Yeah, Barry Bonds
no,
is my shit.
that was
Flashing
fire.
lights and can't forget about Can't Tell Me Nothing. With the
I was
easy ad lib.
took words right
Shit.
out of my mouth.
Mm.
You can't lie.
Yeah, man,
Come on.
you
Yeah,
you doing a good job,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
persuading.
I'm trying to persuade
Ah,
Maurice here, y'all. Listen, in the comments, let us know. Talk
yeah,
about it. Graduation versus Damn. Who's the clear winner here?
but
We know. We even know everybody knows.
okay. With all that being said, I'm still not persuade. I'm still sticking to my
Okay, still
gun.
sticking with Damn. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
still
What
gonna
we
stick
got on
with
Damn?
Damn. Damn also, it has some bangers. It had
Grammy
Humble.
winning.
Yeah, the Grammy, the Pulitzer Prize
Yeah,
winner, the only hip hop album to ever do that. Is a award that's really geared towards jazz and contemporary, like I guess jazz and opera, some shit like that. So he's the first rapper, probably will be the only rapper to win their award, and he won it for
yeah.
Damn. And he won the album of the year at the Grammys. Came out, sold about 600,000 in his first week.
Talk about it.
Yeah, Love on there, commercial record with Rihanna.
Yeah, that was a
Humble.
big one though.
Yeah, that was a big one. Humble. He had,
Yeah,
you
that was a
know,
big one too.
yeah,
That one
so that's
had us in a
right.
chokehold.
Yeah, exactly. DNA. I got loyalty, royalty inside my DNA. He was spitting on that. He actually had U2 on here, the rock group, Bono and all them on there. So had Kid Capri on a few songs as well. So
It was definitely a diverse album. I think that was one of the things that I appreciated about Damn is that I think it pulled together like a lot of different elements. It was
right.
hip hop, but it was also pop. Because when it came out, I definitely would have classified the album as like a pop album. I was like, it was just way too commercialized. But over the years, and as I sat with like the content, and I was like, low key, it's still a hip
Oh
hop
yeah.
album. This is still spitting.
Yeah,
But
he had some commercial joints on there though.
yeah,
He was on there talking. He was on there talking. You know, he stressed out on the cover. You know, goes with the
yeah,
concept of the name. Damn, you know, like fuck.
yeah,
That's what I take
yeah.
from looking at the cover. Like, you know, fuck it. You know, so
Yeah, that's speaking of yeah, that's a very interesting cover. I didn't get like I don't know what I got from the album cover,
to me,
but
I just think it's just a man that's just fuck. You know, stressed out
it's like
at this
damn.
point. Like, damn, like
That's a
fuck it.
good point. I never considered this album
No,
cover and
no
like his facial
wardrobe.
expression.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah,
get a little bit white tee. You know, coming off to
like
Pimple
damn.
Butterfly. Like, damn, like I.
And when was that one released?
That was released in 2017.
2017. Okay, bet. So he had a couple years in between the Pimple
Yeah,
Butterfly
yeah.
on
So
this one. I'll just so for me, I think my critique of Damn, like I said at the time, I did feel like it was a little too commercialized. And then coming off the projects like Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly, I was like,
okay.
this is a little too poppy, but it's still a dope project.
Yeah,
Like
no.
you run off some of the track lists, I'm like, yeah, Humble is one of them ones that's kind of hard to forget.
Yeah, and Mr. Duckworth, the song
Yes,
Duckworth,
B
that's the name
side.
of it.
That's a
That
B side.
yeah,
Yes.
that's a joint. That's a good one though.
Yeah.
The storytelling on there, one of my favorite storytelling songs. Basically, you know, you're telling the story. You know how he got, you know, Top almost robbed his dad, was working at the KFC and all that kind of shit. So
Yeah.
you know, Kendrick always deliver. You know, he
Always
delivered
delivering
on
a
that, man.
story and a message and like a hidden meaning. And the thing I will say is that he does, to your point, like weave in different the same elements to like those albums, like, you know, with him growing up in Compton, Mr. Duckworth, like just the idea of the West Coast being like laced all through his projects. It's
Right.
always given that. So I definitely appreciate how he keeps it true to like, you know what I'm saying, Cali, like it's just it's in him. And oddly enough, like I think it's interesting. I think some of his people was like from Chicago too, which
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Chicago
got
and
roots in
California got
Chicago.
like this strange like migration, you know, type of
Hmm.
dynamic. You know, like I know my family, a lot of people like live in Cali and stuff like that. And there is just like this really strange relationship that I think a lot of people don't know exists between Chicago and California, but
Okay, yeah.
definitely appreciate that he keeps it to his hometown. He keeps it himself. Like I don't think Kendrick. Damn is probably the most commercialized album I think from Kendrick. Like I've had to say.
Think Yeah, that was his peak. That was his until, like I said, now
Until GNX, I'm like
to
that's
DMX,
why I had to think about
you know,
it.
and you know, don't forget about Mr. Morale. He released that as well. But
Yeah,
I
that
think
one was yeah
when Damn was released, you know, he was out of here. He was like one of the
yeah.
biggest, you know, and then
What do you think that was so like attracted people to the album so much? Like the fact that it won a Pulitzer Prize and like you know
yeah,
got album of the year. I thought it was a dope album. I don't know if I feel like it deserved all of that though.
it did.
Hot
What?
take.
Critically
Maybe that's a super
acclaimed.
hot take.
Yeah, super hot take. That's one of his best albums in his catalog. Some people might think it's better than To Pimp a Butterfly. You know, I know it might not be popular to say, but I listen to both and I be
Interesting.
like, ah, man, is this really better than To Pimp a Butterfly? Damn is a really great album. I think it deserved all the accolades that it did get. Like it was an amazing project by Kendrick.
It was see, this is when then people gonna keep it like, oh, she's not a Kendrick fan. Like, no, I am a Kendrick fan, but like that's just you know what I'm saying? I'm personally gonna take Good Kid Mad City over Damn. If I have
Oh yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
drop
yeah, yeah.
one project, I'm definitely dropping Damn. Out of those three, Damn is my
Remember?
least favorite one.
Oh,
For
you
sure.
think so?
Yeah.
Damn,
What would be a project that you would get rid of?
damn, that's a good. Yeah, I think Dan will have to go. I think that because I
Damn,
can't.
I have to go? Okay.
Of course, Good Kid ain't going nowhere. To Pimp a Butterfly for what it did, for what it stood for, you know, that can't go nowhere. I think that's a little. So if I had to kick one of them out,
Yeah.
I would say damn. I would say
Don't
damn.
say damn, okay.
But if you ask
Nah,
me
same.
tomorrow, I might say To Pimp a Butterfly. I don't know. I don't know. But definitely solidified, not going nowhere is Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
definitely choosing
Definitely.
that. So I could
I
go back and
think
forth with the other two.
Yeah, I think for Kanye, I think I could go with that late registration
Mm.
before graduation.
Think so?
If I have to give up one, now this is again gun to my head. Like I gotta give up one to you know what I'm saying get $1 million. Like I might give up late registration
Mm.
over
I'm
What
trying
you
to think about
say?
it. That's a good. That's a good. I mean, me
Better
personally, I think I like late registration better. Me personally,
the most?
yeah, I think I like that one better than graduation.
Really?
Not saying it's better, but me personally, because he had Nas on there, he had Hov, like he had Paul Wall, he had the Game on
Got
there.
Brandy.
Yeah, Brandy on there. Yeah, I forgot about that. I think it was a better album. I think me personally, but I hear a lot of people talk about graduate. Graduation really has aged well, though. Believe it or not, a lot of
Yes.
people revere graduation. A lot of people love graduation.
A lot of great I mean, they both had great samples. I mean,
Yeah,
the production was yeah. I don't know.
it was amazing.
That's it's hard. But one thing's for sure, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City, and College Dropout are staying on
They
the
stamp.
list
They stamp.
regardless.
They ain't going nowhere. You can't get rid of them too. You
The
know
debut albums stay.
they stay. They stand. I agree with that. You can't get rid of them too.
Yeah,
Like
okay,
they
bet.
solidified. They you can't go nowhere. But yeah, but like I said, I guess who's the winner here? I'll let you guys decide. Hopefully you watch to continue watching throughout to this point. Good Kid,
Yes.
Mad City. We
Give
went
us a
to Good Kid, Mad
comment. Let
City.
us know.
Damn, let us know in the comments. Are you rocking with Kendrick's 3 album run or Kanye 3 album run? Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. I think I won this debate, me personally.
Listen, I already know what the people gonna say in the comments. It's Kanye West. Is College Dropout, late registration, graduation, asterisk mark on Good Ass Job than no one's ever heard.
Yeah, no.
Let us know.
I,
We'll
I
let the
think
people decide.
I think the people will probably would side with you because people like Kanye, the early Kanye. Kanye has a lot of early Kanye fans, like a cult
Yes.
following that they
You
love these
can't have
songs.
you can't have Kendrick without Kanye. That's what I'm saying. Kanye came out, was Dropout in 2004. 2003 really belongs to Kanye because he was running with like Through the Wire and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
narrative of
Producing
him,
for
being
pretty
in an
much
accident, right?
a
Like,
lot of people at that time.
yeah, and he was already, on Rockefeller. He was Rockefeller producer, so he already had the hype.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm saying this. You don't want to include Section 80 for Kendrick,
Yeah, I don't
so
want
I
to,
can't talk about can't talk about that masterpiece. But
yeah, that was a masterpiece as well, but I was just wanting to go with the major label
yes,
debut. I'm
yes,
pretty sure somebody might throw that in there, but
yeah. Section 80 was different. Make me want to listen to it.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to add or say?
Nah, that's it. That's it. I don't want nobody killing you like, oh, she not a Kendrick fan. Because I be sounding like a Kendrick hater ever since we started this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah,
with like the Drake thing. And it's like, no, guys, like I really do love Kendrick.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just, you know what I'm saying? For me, I feel like I keep it a buck, keep it fair.
Yeah, you gotta keep it a buck. You have the right to reserve and change your mind. People.
We need to put a disclaimer at the bottom.
I reserve the right to change my mind. This is written in pencil, debate. But like I said, your mileage may vary. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. We digress. We pretty much laid it out 3 for 3, what
Definitely.
you got. So I'm team Kendrick. I think Kendrick had the best with his 3. Psy got Kanye. She's a little biased though. That's some Chicago
It's
shit.
Size City for a reason,
Yeah.
baby. And you say Size City.
There you
It's
go.
easy.
There you
Easy.
go. I feel you.
Easy money.
All right. All right. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll sign off.
Yes,
Rapology,
sir.
favorite rapper's favorite podcast. I'm your boy,
This is DJ Size City.
and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
All
Peace.
right. Peace.